order.
Well, it's just a skewed system.
Of course it is.
It's a lot of adjustment.
But answer my question though.
Terrible.
Should we let people go? Should we let people go? Like, let's just forget about bail altogether. And if your neighbor commits a homicide and kills people up, if you kill people and they next to you and you just let them come back and live right next to you, they can live upstairs from you. Let them come to your house.
This is The Truth in the Afternoon with Dr. Ken Harris on 1017 The Truth and The Truth app.
Now, he's the mayor of the city of Milwaukee. He's a young man. Give him a chance. I only complain about things that I care about. What I want you to do is pretend like I'm in St. Louis. Now, I'm asking the mayor and the common council president and the common council. Show me.
Now, live from the American Family Insurance Studio in Milwaukee, here is Dr. Ken Harris.
You're listening to Truth in the Afternoon. I'm your host, Dr. Ken Harris. 833-212-1017 is the number. I am back. It was great not being here. Happy belated Easter. Didn't have to do Good Friday, so everything was cool, calm, and copacetic and hot. I was out of town, hanging out, doing all sorts of things, so 833-212-1017 is the number. However, knowing me, I am the news junkie that I am, the news hound that I am, the news chaser that I am. There's so much that's going on, so many things that's been happening. Unfortunately, 2 law enforcement officers were killed in Barron County. Looks like one was a veteran, the other one was a female 23-year-old officer, deputy. It's unfortunate on a traffic stop. 2 most dangerous times of, well, there are actually 3 most dangerous times law enforcement officers working. Some will agree, some will disagree. One is a traffic stop. The other one is domestic violence. I should probably talk into the microphone, right? And the third one is going to serve a search warrant. So, unfortunately, and we'll keep, whether you do or not, I'll keep those families in my prayers and give them some thought about what's going on and what's happening. 833-212-1017 is the number. Also looking at Louisville, Kentucky this morning. Shooting, 5 people dead, 9 people at the hospital. Why? Because a person was told they were letting him go. Rule number 1, why do you do that on a Monday? But we don't know when it happened. We'll have to look into the story. 91st and Silver Spring, crash. 2 people died. 2 young people died. Did they run the light, not run the light? Was it truly an accident? Was it truly just a crash? 14-year-old shot, 12-year-old taken into custody. 64th and Sheridan, and we go on and we go on and we go on. I was at a place this weekend, and here's how serendipity happens. I'm reading something that someone is actually talking about. I'm reading something that's actually telling me the same thing that a person is talking about. And what the person was talking about, I had to once again use some common sense, some dignity, some respect, some humility to not stand up. And, people always blame me, because I'll always say stuff instead of doing stuff. And I remind them, I say, as long as I say, man, I would punch you in the face, that's better than actually punching you in the face. For me, that's better than sitting here pretending like nothing is happening, being quiet, letting it build up and fester, and then all of a sudden just going off and punching somebody in the face. Right? So I heard a white couple talking, and they actually talked about how would the world be without Black people in it? How would America be without Black people? And I thought to myself, that's funny, because I'm actually reading something that's titled, and the author is unknown, and it's titled, A World Without Black People. Now, I read it, and it's going to take a while for me to read it, so bear with me. But it's told in narrative form. It's told in story form. This is a story of a little boy named Theo who woke up one morning and asked his mother, Mom, what if there were no Black people in the world? Well, his mother thought about that for a moment and then said, son, follow me around today, and let's just see what it would be like if there were no Black people in the world. Mom said, now go get dressed and we'll get started. And so Theo ran to his room and put on his clothes and shoes. His mother took one look at him and said, Theo, where are your shoes? And those clothes are all wrinkled, son. I must iron them. However, when she reached for the ironing board, it wasn't there. You see, Sarah Boone, a Black woman, invented the ironing board, and Jan E. Metzelinger, a Black man, invented the shoe lasting machine. So she said, oh, well, go do something to your hair. And then he ran to his room to comb his hair, but the comb wasn't there because, you see, Walter Salmons, a Black man, actually invented the comb. And so Theo decided to just brush his hair, but the brush was gone because Lydia O. Newman, a Black female, actually invented the brush. So then Mom just told Theo, look, do your chores around the house and then take a trip to the grocery store. So Theo has to always sweep the floor. So he swept, and when he reached the dustpan, it wasn't there. Why? You see, Lloyd P. Ray, a Black man, invented the dustpan. And so he swept his pile of dirt over in the corner and he just left it there. And then decided to mop the floor, but the mop was gone because Thomas W. Stewart, a Black man, invented the mop. So Theo yelled to his mom, Mom, I'm not really having any luck. And she said, well, son, let me finish washing these clothes and we'll prepare a list for the grocery store. But when the wash finished, she went to place the clothes in the dryer, but guess what? It wasn't there. You see, George T. Salmon, a Black man, invented the clothes dryer. And then Mom asked Theo to go get a pencil and some paper, prepare their list for the market. So Theo ran and got paper, but noticed that the pencil actually didn't have lead in it. It was broken. And so he was out of luck because John Love, a Black man, actually invented the pencil sharpener. So then Mom reached for a pen, but it wasn't there because William Purvis, a Black man, invented the fountain pen. So as a matter of fact, Lee Burridge invented the typewriting machine, and W.A. Lovett, the advanced printing press. So Theo and his mother decided, you know what? We'll just head to the market. So when Theo opened the door, he noticed the grass was as high as he was tall. You see, John Burr, a Black man, invented the lawnmower, and they made their way over to the car, but it wouldn't go. John Spikes, a Black man, invented the automatic gear shift. Joseph Gamble invented the supercharged system for what? Internal combustible engines. They also noticed that the few cars that were moving kept running into each other and having wrecks because there were no traffic signals, because Garrett A. Morgan, a Black man, invented the electronic traffic signal. Well, it was getting late. They walked to the market, they got their groceries, they returned home, and they were about to put away the milk, the eggs, the butter, and they noticed the refrigerator was gone because John Standard, a Black man, invented the refrigerator. So they just left the food on the counter. But then by this time, he noticed he was getting cold and mom went to turn up the heat, but Alice Parker, a black female, invented the heating furnace. And even in the summertime, they would be out of luck because Frederick Jones, a black man, invented the air conditioner. It was almost time for Theo's father to arrive home, and he usually takes the bus, but there was no bus because its precursor, that thing called the electronic trolley, invented by another black man, Elbert R. Robinson. He usually takes the elevator to his office on the 20th floor, but he couldn't because Alexander Miles, a black man, wasn't there. He invented the elevator. So he usually drops off the mail at the nearby mailbox, but it wasn't there because Philip Downing, a black man, invented the letter drop mailbox. And William Baring invented the postmarking and the canceling machine for the mail. So then Theo and his mother sat at the kitchen table with their hands in their heads. And when their father arrived home, he said, "Why are you sitting in the dark?" Why? Because Lewis Hunter Latimer, a black man, invented the actual filament that goes in the light bulb. And Leo quickly learned about what it would be like if there were no black people in the world, especially if they were ever sick and needed blood. You see, Dr. Charles Drew, a black scientist, found a way to preserve and store blood, which led to his starting the world's first blood bank. Well, what if a family member had to have heart surgery? That would not have been possible without Dr. Daniel Hale Williams, a black man who performed the first open heart surgery. So if you ever wonder, like Theo and this couple I was listening to, where would we be without black people? Well, it's pretty plain to see. We'd still be in the dark.
And that is Dr. Ken's Truth on the new 1017 The Truth.
Tune in to Truth in the Afternoon with me, Dr. Ken Harris, for my financial empowerment interview with Northwestern Mutual. Wednesday, April 12th at 4 o'clock, I'll be joined by Northwestern Mutual financial advisors, JB Bell and Erica Wright, where they will discuss key financial